This was one of the coolest and most terrifying reveals I think I've ever seen. As we know at the end of the last episode, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, as well as Masira, all got eaten by this giant sea turtle. And this thing was huge. It was about 1,000 times bigger than the Going Merry. Like, it was ridiculous. Probably the biggest creature we've seen in One Piece so far. However, at some point, the sea turtle opens its mouth and the Straw Hats and Masira all escape. And he's just sort of staring into the distance, and you don't know what exactly it's about yet. But then all of a sudden, like Shenron appearing, the night turns the sky turns into the night. It gets really dark, and you have no idea why until eventually the Straw Hat Pirates look forward, and there's this reveal that there are these giants that dwarf the turtle by about 1,000,000 times. Like these creatures are insanely big. Like the actual reveal to their size is insane. If you say the turtle's 1,000 times bigger than the Going Merry, these giants are about 10,000 times bigger than the turtle, probably more. Like, it's insane. And the way that the scale was shown of these things, I thought was so brilliantly done. Like, it really gave you a feeling that these things are like cosmic horror level deities, sort of thing. Like, we still don't even know what they are because the Straw Hats escape, and they're just sort of like, that was weird. So, like, it's not explained. We don't know where they're from. Are they from Skypiea? Are they like gods? I have no idea. But like, the giants we found in Little Garden, it makes them look like fucking babies, like, you know what I mean, like newborns. That's the sort of size we're talking here. Like, it was the coolest reveal ever. The build up to it and then the eventual reveal, I thought was just awesome, and I can't wait to discover this mystery and sort of figure out what exactly these entities actually are. But as we know, the Straw Hats didn't actually discover a lot on that sunken ship in the last episode, so they're going to have to go to an island called Jaya, which Robin found on Masira's ship, and you can only assume that it's Masira's homeland, and apparently that will hold the key to get into Skypiea, or at least the sky. So that's going to be where we're heading next, Jaya. So that's going to be like the intermediate, I suppose, before we get to Skypiea. But that's exciting, every new island you go to in One Piece is always exciting. It's always full of mystery, interesting characters. That's the thing I love about this show. The crew going from island to island, discovering new people, new faces, new stories. One Piece to me is like a giant collection of interconnected and really interesting individual stories, and I love that part about it. So I'm excited to go to this new island in Jaya. Let's see what it's all about. Another amazing part of this episode was the fact we got a few returning characters such as Buggy and his crew, and Fire Fist Ace, who just appeared on Buggy's ship. I swear this guy is just popping up everywhere. First in Alabasta, and now on Buggy's ship randomly, basically demanding a party. And we learn a little bit more about Whitebeard, and it makes sense as to why Ace respects him and looks up to him so much, because we know Ace is very strong. People are very scared of him, being the second in command to the Whitebeard pirates. But Buggy says himself that Whitebeard is the only person to ever compete neck and neck with Gold Roger, the strongest Pokemon, the strongest pirate of all time, essentially. So Buggy's proclaiming that Whitebeard is the strongest pirate that's existing right now, so it makes absolute sense why Ace is following him. And I don't know what Ace is doing here. He's just on side quests all the time, it feels like. There's probably a reason, or maybe he's just floating about and he happened to see a ship and he wanted some food and a party. I don't really know. But it's very cool every time we see Ace. I think he's a great character. And seeing Buggy as well is always fun. Whenever we go back to these characters that we met before, seeing sort of what they're doing, getting a catch up, Buggy's just sort of floating around the Grand Line now, waiting for Luffy's bounty to rise so he can eventually defeat him and become notorious and stuff like that. I don't think Buggy would ever defeat Luffy, but I want to see him try one day. But it's cool to see him sort of, in the Grand Line, see exactly what he's doing and discovering a bit more of what Whitebeard is all about and why he's so notorious and feared by everybody. Yeah, that was this episode. I absolutely loved it. A lot more mysteries have been unlocked, basically. A lot more things to discover with these giant creatures, the new island of Jaya, how to get to Skypiea, Whitebeard, all that sort of stuff. I'm loving the show so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So let's do it.